More time. Personally, I loved it from the moment I walked in to when I walked out late. I could be there for like all day, every day, meeting you all. Because again, we were like family by the end of it. And so I would give anything for more time with family. And so you'd actually just meet more, talk more, be able to make more recommendations, make it a bit more cute around the edges, whatever. Because like again, it was fun, and I think it was really important kind of trying to keep the fun up while also while keeping it important to the kaupapa. Um, and hey, sue me, but I think it's important that we recognize the time and energy that rangatahi will put into it. And maybe it's money for them and their time and energy. Hey, I know money's tight. Hey, we know money's tight. So, I don't know, recognizing their value, their worth through, yeah, Bhutia.
Hmm. Okay, sorry to break it to you all. I wasn't actually a part of the assembly itself. I was only a part before and after, but that was due to my own health experiences. But anyway, I supported the rangatahi before, and the rangatahi wānanga that we talked about earlier. And then after, through one of our Pākeke's PhDs that they're completing right now, I was a part of their PhD as a research assistant, and we went and interviewed the rangatahi after the assembly in focus groups. So they were like case studies. And so I got to authentically hear their experiences, and they were quite mixed. They were very mixed. Some loved it, some loved being with adults, but others they felt inspired. They felt, oh, inspired. Yeah, I'm going to say it like that. They felt inspired by adults to say what adults wanted to hear. And that's what we picked up on throughout that kaupapa. But next time, but I love what happened. That was truly like amazing. It was beautiful. Like we've come up with so many beautiful outcomes like through future unity. But next time, I would really love to see a rangatahi deliberate democracy space just for rangatahi, for us to come and collaborate, for us to kōrero and come up with authentic recommendations from our young people and just a broader kind of sense of young people because I think we only focused on nine, but I know there's much more than nine schools in Porirua. So if we were to connect with all of them, I could see a possibility of perhaps running an assembly during school times and connecting with all the schools instead of getting our aunties to run around, somehow just making it much easier and opening up to all the schools and holding it during school times that would like take away a lot of barriers for young people. Um, Sorry, I actually wrote notes to this one because I was actually really excited for this question. But yeah, preparation before, like the wānanga, support during from our Pakeke team, and just debriefing after the assembly. So through our Future Unity group, we're still connecting with the young people who contributed at the wānanga at the start of the year. So yeah, just doing that. And then a separate adult assembly. So I know that there was a mana whenua and a community. And then imagine if there was a rangatahi as well. And then we all came together and did that instead. That was just my idea. But I
Anything come to mind?
I, I'm like saying too, time.
Yeah.
Time was really a restriction, I thought. Um, yeah, so more time on it. And I really want to acknowledge you, Ifbo, about what you said about the othering, because that was another really big learning for me when I reflected back was, did I make the space safe and welcoming enough for our young people? You know, I didn't, that was a question that I had in my mind afterwards when I reflected on the facilitation. Um, I hear just because our rangatahi, whilst with us in the group sessions, didn't speak so much, and then when they left the room, they spoke heaps. You couldn't stop them from talking. So, one of my learnings as a facilitator was, to take away and think about, ponder, was just how I make a space safe for everybody, including our young people. So thank you for that.
Kia ora.
that was definitely something that happened to me in reflection of facilitation a lot. Honestly, I think we would try and improve on everything if we were to do it again. Yeah, but definitely I love this idea. I absolutely love this. I would have liked to have paid everyone more in general, and definitely, yeah, paying young people as well. We were pretty limited because of it being not council, not government funded in any way. So the resourcing was pretty limited. And then another thing which you and I have talked about recently is most assemblies will provide a sort of resource booklet of information with their to people beforehand. And yeah, we didn't really spend a huge amount of time getting that as awesome as it could be. And we also didn't push it out through to the public in ways that there is that opportunity to really try and use it as an opportunity for public education. What other stuff did I just write down? There were things that came up like AI. We hadn't thought about AI. We didn't bring in any technologies into our deliberations. Yeah, but we should talk, man. We should totally talk about maybe a rangatahi assembly could be Ngāti Toa's next.
Who knows? Put my name forward.
I just do want to acknowledge too that this, from as someone observing the commitment to being a learning culture, the commitment to flexibility, responding to emergent learning, and like you said, not being so tightly bound to an idea that it could change based on. There was so much improvisation that was rigorously chosen along the way in light of what was learned in real time. And I saw beautiful, deliberative, reflective worlds when you as a project team would meet time again. Are we doing this right? What could we do differently all the time? So I just want to acknowledge like what you're seeing now is also like the learning culture that distinguishes this project. That was part of its beautiful integrity too.
I get this question a lot. Shall I start? What are your local mana whenua think? Talk to the yeah, that's always my advice, and it always puts people right back, and they thought they had already got an idea or whatever. But yeah, it's the only advice that you could really give because it's local context. So unless you're doing it in Porirua, and then I'm happy to share our learnings with you. But
Yeah, I would advise the same as well. It's not just one person's advice. I mean, idea and the way that an idea is brought around when there's conversation and there's food and there's time makes a real difference to it. So, and relationships, I just can't, all that soft data that's so important to us humans, that cannot be replaced. So building a safe relational space for people to feel free to speak and say their mind, speak their mind is really important. I think everything else, will come from that.
I think what I just said before. So a community group, a mana whenua group, and a rangatahi group, all having their own wānanga, but then coming together and coming up with recommendations as a collective. That's how you'll get authentic rangatahi voice. And if you really care about what young people are caring about at this time and about climate, well, that's what we focused on. That's how you're going to get an outcome, is from actually just having young people together in one room, because it is intimidating. Adults are intimidating, and especially if you're 15, because that's how young. Yeah, if you're 15, I remember when I was 15, I wouldn't want to talk in front of adults at all, and I still feel kind of weird talking to adults right now at 20.
Keep it like not simple, but keep it understandable. Because I feel like for Rangatai especially, a big barrier is actually feeling you don't know anything. Whereas if you are human and you grow up, you know so much more than you could ever know. And so by making the kaupapa easy to approach, it makes it easier for Rangatai to come forward to the table and provide their whakaaro.
How can we build and use this? Well, in a community like Porirua, there's a lot of people working, you know, towards this. There are so many Taiao groups out there, and what they are actually working against is, you know, the disasters that will happen. But it's like strength-based, right? When you think in a strength-based way, it means that you focus on what you want to build, not on, you know, so if you focus on the things that you want to build, it'll grow, you know. Just like the mental health question, we didn't have time to delve right into it. And we went the opposite way because we felt we'll grow this and that will deal with it. So is that one part of the question? Am I answering or am I raising?
Yeah, I think Amanda's going to add something. We get a mic up to her.
Good, Amanda.
Yeah, and can I just say as well that I think being Ngāti Toa led is really significant here, because something that I didn't anticipate to the extent that it happened was that Ngāti Toa have taken these recommendations and they have put them into all of their departments and they are promoting it amongst the community. They're starting a website where we'll be able to, where the community, the wider community, can track projects that have come out of it, or contribute their own projects if they think that they're aligned with the recommendations. So from Ngāti Toa's go and do it, and because they trusted the process, they 100% took the recommendations and are going for it. So we're looking at how we will track and weigh and measure this at the moment.
Kia ora tātou. Ko Amanda Dobson aho. I am lucky enough to be the EnviroSchools community facilitator in Porirua, and which gave me the opportunity to be involved with this incredible kaupapa. World leading. Yeah, it's been an incredible learning journey, and we're still on it. And yeah, learning so much along the way because we're cutting new ground, right? And we're learning as we go. And so I guess Michelle and I are just going to share a little bit of like so we all have a role and a responsibility in this, whether we were part of the, this is my opinion, whether we were part of the assembly or whether we live and or work in Porirua. So our job, we've been involved in the Community Leaders Forum over the past 5 years that was moving towards this. And for a long time, I was wondering, like, what is my role in this? Like, you know, yeah, how do we bring, yeah, and it was about bringing, being the people in the community that could bring young people's voices. And so, you know, and here we have these incredible young people leading, and so much is going on for them as representatives, as young people. And our job is to be their support crew, to be there as they need them, to make it easy, to so we're continuing to do that. And we each, like, there's something for all of us that's about what resonates for us. And so we have the connections. At the moment, we are working towards a community of practice for our schools, a community of practice on climate action. And we are in the schools inviting them on that journey. They've been invited along the journey, and it is very challenging times to be asking these, bringing this to people who don't have a lot of time and energy around all the other things. But it's so critical. And I guess the context of our schools at the moment that are saying, that are committing to upholding Te Tiriti beyond what the government is saying at this point in time, we're saying the recommendations in Porirua from this process are our way to uphold Te Tiriti or Waitangi in Porirua, because it's iwi mandated, because it's community led. And we need to be making this a critical part of the learning for everyone in our space. So I'm going to let Michelle add her voice to that.
Just getting back to the point about bringing people together. So Porirua actually has 3 areas that in the 20 years that I've worked there, people pretty much stayed in their 3 years. I think this assembly is the first time there was representation from across the whole of Porirua in one room. And now we've hopefully got 22 of our 30 schools committed to being a community of practice across Porirua and doing it without any promise of time or whatever. I mean, it's early days, but it's to me, it's bringing those schools together to share practice in a way that, you know, there was hope for that in the Kahuiako system, but that's gone now. But we're doing it, and we'll do it without. Well, actually, I think Helmut sums it up brilliantly. And when he talks about this and the outcomes of this, he says, "No one's coming, whānau. We have to do it. No one's coming." And I think that's what one of the outcomes for this in terms of bringing people together. And schools have to do this because they have to teach how to think and act critically in a whole range of things. And that's been smashed a bit at the moment. So it's like, yeah, this is the opportunity for schools in Porirua to really get it together, I hope.